Atlanta history, man, is very deep. And there's this recent thing going on because there's an election going on where people want to talk about new Atlanta and old Atlanta. Mr. Shakur spoke on something about Channel 24. I remember growing up watching Allie Patton, Hosea Williams. So for people who move to Atlanta and think that they don't know the history and might want to vote to shut down Channel 24 and think it's irrelevant, it may be irrelevant to you because you just moved here, you don't know the history. Public comment is one of the most important duties, I think, as a councilman, because you get to hear from the people across Atlanta on their experience in Atlanta. And I think it's something that we need to start taking serious. You know, when you guys have a 3-week period and we have people not here or late and walking in and out, when you've been on vacation for 3 weeks and when you come back with public comment, I think we need to take it serious. There's so much that you can't get out, whether I got 8 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 10. I was just having a conversation the other day about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we were talking about Black Wall Street. And further reading, that was one of my first 100-page papers that I had on Miss Overstreet in my political science class, which I have a real college degree, right? So, and I went back over that paper. It popped up in my email for some strange reason. And I was reading through it, and it was saying that how you may have a milk in the white area that you had to pay $1 for, but you couldn't go over there because it was segregated, white and black. But the black area had that same milk for $5, right? So is it right that because I can't go over there to the white man's store, you're gonna charge me $5 for this gallon of milk? So I'm just saying, we always have had things that, even in Atlanta, when we had the race riots of 1906, right? We always gonna have black folks treating black folks wrong, right? But it don't make it right. So oftentimes in Atlanta, when people who from here understand that you had more white businesses and black businesses downtown. I remember growing up, I used to ride on Ponce de Leon and Cheshire Bridge. It was filled with prostitution. But we seem to forget those days today. People move to Cheshire Bridge and Ponce de Leon think that is better than this and that and third. But hey, it was filled with prostitution. The Claremont Lounge, one of the oldest establishment, adult entertainment, right? They don't have no issues, but we have issues with other black establishments that have no history of some of the things that these people have. And I think sometimes we forget. I ride through Atlanta. The nightlife in Cheshire Bridge and Ponce de Leon is off the chain. Anywhere else, we want to act like it's a nuisance. We're not going to do that. Dustin Hill is in Atlanta. I remember Michael Cato. When I was a kid, the Blue Flame was a 7-Eleven. But guess what Michael Cato did? Antonio Lewis. Every black person that have a down payment and needed money for their mortgage in Collier Heights, he paid it out of pocket. Facts. Roads need to be paid. The city said they had the money. Mike Cato paid for them roads to be paved over there. So we won't disrespect people's legacy like that. Because new Atlanta want to come in and say, hey, forget about old Atlanta. Wesley Merritt, who owned everything from what you know now, the pay less the riches, all the way down. Mr. Walters, them put the feds on him, took everything from him, and they distributed the property amongst their friends. Wesley Merritt, look it up. One of the biggest and the richest black man ever come through Atlanta. They got together and took his property. So we ain't gonna play this narrative about new Atlanta and old Atlanta. Y'all new Atlanta folk, you're gonna respect this old Atlanta. And we're gonna respect your new progress and what you bring to the table. It go both ways. When Atlanta was nothing but woods and railroads, Councilman Lewis, you always had homeless people being dropped off here in Atlanta. Like no other, they was being dropped off here. But we want to act like, we got to do something about this. We all ride around and see these ugly encampments, Mr. Shook. It's horrible on the streets. But we got to do something about it. I don't know what, but we got to do something about it. I think we own too many buildings to not operate them in some type of way, I think we let the county off the hook. It's a county issue, but we step our nose in it and somehow people think it's a city issue. It's a county issue. But the problem I have is that we so unique out of anybody in America. We sit right here, the Gold Dome sit there, the two Twin Towers in the State Building sit there, APS sit right there, our magistrate court sit there, our judges and our sheriff and everybody in the county commissioners sit there, but nobody have a conversation with one another. We fall out with folks because you in this sorority, you in this fraternity, or you voted for this person, or you were this person campaign manager. Nobody had real conversation. I remember when I worked for the city, I had to park in that garage right there by the courthouse. I had to walk past those homeless people every day. And every day I'd be like, damn, what is we doing? God bless the Catholic Church throughout the world, but mainly here, because they never pushed them people off the steps. And these are people that don't look like me. So this is why I always say, and what my grandmother always taught me, all white folks ain't against you and all black folks ain't for you. That's how I was raised. That's why I can call out when blacks is wrong and when white is wrong. It's not a racism thing, it's a placism thing, it's a classism thing, but it's a right and wrong thing. And I used to hate walking past there every day, knowing that we can do something about it and we don't. Man, that's a hard feeling for somebody like me who are empath, somebody who was raised on right principles and morals. That's hard. Like I always say, when that white lady was stabbed in Buckhead about 3 years ago, I was in court standing with that family against that young black man who did it because that was wrong. An older white woman, black woman is wrong. So I just think when I stand up here and say things, it needs to be respected because I believe in bringing people together, not division. But politics divide us so much. I stopped in for a minute for Mr. Young brother birthday party at the YMCA. People running for office want to take the time to do photo ops and all that. For what? You don't do nothing for these kids at the YMCA. Nothing. But we always want to take pictures. When Kasim asked me, did I want a job over here? I said, no. I want to be around you every day. Send me over to the workforce so we can help people. I don't want to be in office to take photos or to be liked. No, man. Like one of my council members told me, I've been who I am since kindergarten. I don't care to be liked. I don't need this job for women or money. The will of the people.
Thank you. Councilmember Lewis.
Dr. Robinson, I want to make sure I tell you that it's going to take some innovation to get some of this stuff done. The politics is long-standing in this city, and when you think about it, it's long-standing. As a new person involved and to see it, to be involved and to understand that if I don't vote the right way, I may not get this done sometimes, right? And so I will say that one thing we fought for, we ran on, and we worked with the community. Mr. Michael Hopkins in Hammond Park was a huge part of this, is the Fulton County Behavioral Health Crisis Center, right? And so that's something that we got right on Metropolitan Parkway. It's 2805. That's a building that, when you think about the space, the state of Georgia, the federal government determines how many you need, how many crisis centers you need in your county, right? The federal government does. Then the state has to accept the funding, right? Then it comes down to the county, then the local folks, right? And so myself, Mr. Hopkins, Ms. Fran Calhoun over at the Fulton County, when you think about our state senators, they fought to get this, but man, the community fought to transform a building that was not being used into the Fulton County Behavioral Health Crisis Center. And that's something we got done in term one. If you look at my campaign site, we ain't changed it since. That's something that we know we needed in our county. So we're supposed to have 3 to 5 in this county. We're going to get 3. We should have 5, right? And so just know that there are some things that we're supposed to have that, if innovative, I think we got the right council to get a lot of this stuff done too. Thank you.
Yes, I believe in this council. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Siegfried White.